What's going on, y'all? It's your boy H-Dog, and I'm back here with another video, bringing you my Final Fantasy VII Remake review. Honestly, I can go ahead and just start from the story. Now, from the story wise, I thought that this was the weakest part of the game. Now, granted, it's a story that really cranks up like all the way to 11 when you get to chapter 12. And I know, that sounds like a long time for the story to get really good. Is chapter 12. I'm not saying that the other chapters wasn't good, I'm not saying that they were trash, but it's like the first couple chapters were good. They laid the foundation of what the story was going to be, but then from that point on, it's just like I started feeling like that I was losing focus of what my main goal was from the third chapter all the way to 11. I felt like I was kind of losing what was my goal. Almost like the equivalency of Fallout 4 in a way, where it was like with Fallout 4, it got to a point where like the main goal of Fallout 4 was to find your son, but it's like other things kept getting in the way of you finding your son, and it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be finding my son, but I'm doing all this other minuscule crap just for the sake of doing it for whatever reason. Now, honestly, I think if they had what they should have done was trim the length of the game. Like, definitely, like I think that there was some parts, there was some good moments in some of the chapters, but I think that some of them, I think that those moments are like flashes in the pan that could have been put into one chapter. Like I'm not gonna go into spoilers. I'm gonna make a spoiler video after my review, but I just feel like if they had took some of the best parts from those chapters and put them into one chapter, and then you go to chapter 12, and then that's how the story cranks up to 11 for the rest of the game. Now, I understand. Now, we all know that this is not a full game. Now, it's a full game, and I'm using air quotations here. It's a full game in the sense that they expanded on Midgard, not only Midgard, but certain characters from the original game that I don't think they necessarily did in the original Final Fantasy VII. The game story had great character development, good pacing. Like, I love the interaction with each character, and it starts off as one of them. It starts off as like they're all kind of like trying to get to know each other. They're like kind of like, oh, we just doing the job at first, and then went from that to, you see over time the character development grew for each character, and I cared for a lot of characters by the end of my experience. So I would say that was a pretty good part. Now, the gameplay for Final Fantasy VII was almost perfect. Almost perfect. The combat was pretty good. The battle system I really thought was dope. I don't remember. Now, I do remember in Final Fantasy 15 you could like use link attacks, but I don't recall if you were able to switch in between characters in the party on the fly like you could in Final Fantasy VII Remake, and have like full control over them, like where their moveset is or their special attacks. Now, in this one you do, and that's pretty dope how you can like chain together combos. You can use Barrett's ability plus Tifa's ability plus whoever else plus Cloud's ability to like chain a combo in a way, which I thought was pretty dope. The boss fights in the game were amazing. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, amazing. They always kept me on my toes. They were boss fights that I would go in. It wouldn't be them boss fights where it's like you just beat the enemy, so to speak. It's just like you really have to strategize. You really have to strategize on what you need to do to take out that boss. Which spell can work best against this boss, vice versa. And it's all about staggering and breaking their stance. Now, and that's another thing too. I really liked how they had that stagger meter, where it kind of was similar to Sekiro or Jedi Fallen Order, way we kind of breaking their stance, so to speak, or their stagger. Yeah, you would say that they're balanced in a way. You're kind of breaking their balance so they can stagger. So that was a pretty cool implementation. That way you can just hit them with a ton of damage, and I feel like that was a pretty cool system in the game. However, when it comes to some of the enemies and the boss fights, I felt like that some of the attacks that they were able to pull off was really magnetic as hell, where you could be in an animation of a dodge and it could look like that you dodged the attack, but they could end up still magnetically being able to hit you with their attack. And also the other complaint I had about this was, say if you're trying to heal a party member or use one of your limit special moves, or heal yourself, like while you're in that animation of healing somebody or using your special attack, like the enemies can still hit you. You can still get hit and still get knocked out unconscious. Like, and I feel like when it comes to me healing, when it comes to me using my specials, it should be unblockable. Just like how any enemy in the game would have unblockable moves, I'd have unblockable moves. Or they shouldn't interrupt me curing myself, which could get sometimes annoying and damn near raging. Well, not damn near raging, I say rage inducing almost. But those are the only two nitpicks I had about the gameplay. The ending, which I'm not going to get into spoilers in this video. I'm going to say that for the next video when I do a Final Fantasy VII spoiler talk. Now, the ending wasn't as bad as a lot of people made it seem. Like I kept hearing that a lot of people was making it seem like that this was a terrible ending, that this ending was trash. And it's really not that bad if you truly understand it. Could it be weird? Yes, but if you're used to weird stories, like Kojima or Control story, then you should have no issue. Or hell, even Kingdom Hearts story in a way can be confusing, but you can at least understand that typical story in a way. Now, overall, I will say that this was a really good game, and I like the direction that they're heading with the next one. Now, from what I understand, I think it's gonna be like a standalone part, kind of like I would imagine something like Final Fantasy VII 2, like -2 or something like that. Or I don't know if it would be like an episodic thing where you can keep the main game and like just be able to download, or I'd say buy and download the episodes when it comes to those. Now, with that being said, have you guys played Final Fantasy VII Remake? And if you have, tell me your thoughts about it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, hit that like button. Think about subscribing for more content. And until next time, it's been your boy H-Dog, and I'm out. Peace.